This week marks another step forward for the Frontline community. The first Gauntlet leaderboard is revealed, competitive teams continue crossing paths in public battles, and the signs of a growing organised scene are becoming harder to ignore. We begin with a battlefield that brought multiple factions together in a single fight. Welcome to Frontline Report. Let's get into it. Match 1. US East Rush moved to Oasis with Coalition on the attack against OR. The opening sectors were closely contested before Coalition gradually built momentum and began breaking through successive defensive lines. Highly 5 and the Grub remained active as the assault progressed, while Pagrizzi and Mr. Clean 1 continued leading OR's defensive efforts. Despite determined resistance, Coalition completed the attack and secured the victory with 69 tickets remaining. Match 2. US West shifted the fighting to Fjord, Coalition launching an assault against OR's positions. The opening came with sustained pressure before OR gradually slowed the advance and re-established control across the battlefield. LOL, XR and CT7's Fallen Angel remained active as the defense settled in, while Mike Litterus and Avasso continued driving Coalition's offensive push. Despite persistent attacks, Coalition exhausted its remaining tickets, handing OR the defensive victory. Match 3. US Central shifted the fighting to tunnels. The opening exchanges remained closely contested before Coalition gradually gained the upper hand, securing key objectives and building a steady ticket advantage. Ditch and Sandman remained active as Coalition strengthened its position, while Catman 64 and Skydog continued leading OR's resistance throughout the engagement. Coalition controlled the battlefield through the closing stages, securing the victory with 216 tickets remaining. Now, let's see the standouts. Here are your spotlight players. Match 1 Coalition. Big beat-ups finished with 21 kills, 6 deaths and 4 assists, maintaining an efficient performance that helped support the attacking advance across Oasis. For OR, TGR's Box 55, the boss recorded 23 kills, 20 deaths and 5 assists, continuing to contest the battlefield as Coalition pressed through the remaining objectives. Their performances reflected the sustained effort displayed by both sides throughout the engagement. Game 2. For Coalition, Lee Manzazid recorded 19 kills, no deaths, and 2 assists, delivering an exceptionally efficient performance while Coalition continued pressing the attack. For OR, Frog VR finished with 12 kills, 10 deaths, and 1 assist, providing steady support as the defense absorbed repeated Coalition attacks. Their performances reflected the sustained effort displayed by both sides throughout the engagement. Our last stop, Coalition. Vex finished with 28 kills, 18 deaths and 5 assists, maintaining consistent pressure as Coalition expanded its control across the battlefield. For OR, a second spotlight performance, Tag recorded 20 kills, 18 deaths and 7 assists, continuing to contest objectives as ORE worked to recover lost ground. Their performances reflected the sustained effort displayed by both sides throughout the engagement. The waiting is over. After 1 week of qualifying submissions, countless battles, and days of anticipation, the first official Gauntlet leaderboard is finally here. The opening numbers are locked, the tracker is live, and for the first time this season, we can reveal who has made the strongest opening statement. 1 week into Season 1, and for the very first time, the Gauntlet leaderboard comes alive. Over a dozen teams have already answered the call, but this board tracks the 10 strongest opening performances by Team Frontline combat rating. Remember, these aren't championship standings. They're a snapshot of who's come out swinging, and who's already putting the rest of the field on notice. At the top, it's GWK firing the opening salvo. 247 kills, nearly 40,000 combined score, and a Team FCR of 243.7. It's the biggest opening performance we've seen so far, setting the benchmark every other team will now measure themselves against as Week 2 begins. Chasing them is SKS, and what immediately stands out isn't just second place, it's efficiency. 133 kills, only 15 deaths across the squad, and an outstanding Team KD of 8.87. That's enough to open the season on hunter-killer pace, proving that survival can be just as valuable as raw firepower. Then there's TSB, third on the board, but statistically, one of the most remarkable performances of the opening week. 109 kills, just 9 deaths, producing an incredible Team KD above 12-1. At this stage, that's the highest ratio recorded in the Gauntlet. The question now isn't whether they can reach Hunter Killer, it's whether they can hold on to it for another 3 weeks. F3 joins that conversation in 4th. 90 kills, only 10 deaths, and another Hunter Killer qualifying pace to begin the season. Meanwhile, TGR rounds out the top 5 after delivering one of the busiest submissions of the week. Their 132 kills trail only GWK, but a heavier death count leaves them with different challenges to chase as the season develops. The fight doesn't stop there. TAP opens in 6th, followed by BMM, ZOM, ADN and CT7, completing this week's top 10. That's where this leaderboard gets interesting. One outstanding squad performance next week could launch any one of these teams several places up the board. After just one submission, nothing is settled. And that's exactly what makes these early standings so compelling. Now shift your eyes across to the challenge tracker, because this is where the gauntlet really begins to reveal itself. 3 teams have opened on Hunter Killer pace: SKS, TSB and F3. But Hunter Killer isn't awarded for one great week. Every future submission has to protect that KD. One difficult match, one bad week, and that qualification can disappear just as quickly as it arrived. For everyone else, the hunt is only beginning. Kill totals are climbing. Score totals are building. Every submission moves another team closer to the season's challenges, and every Monday, this board will tell a new story. Week 1 belongs to the opening numbers. Week 2 is where the pressure starts to build. Can these teams make it? Stay tuned to find out in the coming weeks. That will do it for this week. Until next week. This is Frontline Report.